La Dolce Vita, the good life, full of pleasure and indulgence. There is one special place on earth where this life is reality. A place of old villas and palazzi, between steep mountains with sparkling, hundreds of meter deep waters. Some people call it the most beautiful lake in the world. Join the journey to one of my favorite places in Europe and discover the best roads of its surroundings. Welcome to Lake Como. Good morning everyone. Today we are doing the west coast of Lago di Como. We found two nice routes. One of them is going to take us from Switzerland to Italy and the other one is going to take us down to the actual lake.
Think about me one more time before you go.
We are riding along Lugano Lake now, still on the Swiss part of the lake, but we will turn off to the border to Italy very soon.
Someday you'll know what I'm going to say.
From Lugano we took route number 2 along Lake Lugano to the south and turned off to the village Arogno and the small border road SP13 to Italy.
And now you're gone.
Hello Italy, here we come! And this is how the Italian border office looks like. Just gonna love European border crossings. The mountains on the west of Lake Como don't have as many roads to ride as the east, but a round trip through Valrezzo and Valcavagna on Route SP11 and SP10 are a good option to explore small Italian villages and tiny roads, and to enjoy the views on the amazing mountains that surround Lake Como. That's it, our first glimpse of Lake Como, and isn't it amazing? I have been here so many times, but I'm always in awe because I really think this lake is just so unbelievable, stunning, so beautiful. Lake Como is shaped like an inverted letter Y. The mountain lake was formed during the last ice age and is one of the deepest mountain lakes in Europe, measuring 425 meters from surface to bottom at its deepest point. Its deep waters is one of the reasons for its remarkably blue appearance. The lush vegetation and beautiful little towns have attracted many famous people. Mark Twain visited the lake in 1867, Ernest Hemingway in 1948. And yes, Lake Como might be very familiar to you if you are a Star Wars fan. Star Wars Episode 2 was filmed at Villa Balbaniello, right here on the western shores of Lake Como. So we just arrived in my favorite hotel at Lake Como, and you can see it behind me. We are parking the bikes here in this premier spot right in front of the hotel, and that's the restaurant of the hotel. That is super good as well, and that is the hotel. It's called Hotel La Dazena, and it's right on the lake. So join me. I have stayed in several different hotels on the lake on my last trips, but whenever I visit Lake Como now, I make sure to stay a night in Hotel Dazena. It's a down-to-earth hotel with one of the best views on the lake and has a fantastic restaurant. We unfortunately didn't get our favorite room, which is kind of like here on this side, and it's amazing because these rooms are right over the water. Good morning everyone. Today is day 2 of riding, the first real day of riding here at Lake Como, and we're going from the west coast where we stayed the night over to the middle of the lake, and then over to the east coast, which has fantastic riding. We are going to the town Griante, I think it's called now, and we want to take a ferry there to Bellagio, and it's usually a bit less busy in Griante than in Menaggio, which is the other village here on the west side of Lake Como, where you can take ferries to Bellagio or ferries to the eastern side of Lake Como. So we just bought our little tickets and we are going to Bellagio now, which is not exactly on the east coast, but it's kind of on a little tip inside the lake. There are several good reasons why taking the ferry on Lake Como is a fantastic idea. It's the fastest connection if you want to explore more parts of the lake without driving all the way around it on its very busy streets along its shores. And you can enjoy the view on the lake without booking an overpriced tourist boat tour. We are approaching Bellagio. Exiting the ferry now, and this is Bellagio. Bellagio is often referred to as the Pearl of Lake Como and is probably its most famous town. Its colorful old town and majestic villas are worth a day visit, but it can get quite busy with a lot of tourists. From Bellagio you ride up to the mountains direction Sivenna and Gemo, and then turn on Route SP44 that will bring you back to Lake Como over a nice curvy road. We of course wanted to check out some more small roads on the way. And this time, my travel partner refused to do any more stunts for this YouTube channel. So I had to take over his duties.
Hallo.
I didn't fall on all the Scandinavia journey, and now I went off the bike because the bike is a little bit high for me. Happens to the best. And finally my travel partner is not alone with falling anymore. That was something. Now after the fall, it's not so far left back to Lake Como, about 8 kilometers and 13 back to Bellagio. But we will try to find some lunch now, because falling makes hungry. One thing is certain in Italy: you can't go wrong with having pizza. There is no pizza in the world that is as good as the original Italian pizza. We are well fed, and the plan is now to drive back to Bellagio and from there to take the ferry to Varenna. And Varenna is the east side of Lake Como, and we want to explore the area there. The ferry ride from Bellagio to Varenna takes about 20 minutes, and in my opinion is even more pretty than the one from the east shores. You have an even better view on Lake Como and its beautiful surroundings. North of Varenna, right at the village Belano, you find Route SP66. Small roads that snake up the mountains on the shores of Lake Como in many serpentines. A round trip of about 50 kilometers. So this is a very beautiful but very small ride in the mountains here above Lake Como. And now we have to find a hotel because it's nearly 6. We will finish this round here and let's see where we will end up. Oh my god, the navigation system just took us wrongly into this village, and these roads are so unbelievable small, tiny and steep. It's pretty cool, I think. After our detour in the steep mountain village of Premana, we turned back to Route SP67 and made our way down to Lake Como to finally look for a hotel, this time on the eastern shores of the lake. The eastern part of Lake Como is said to offer less tourist attractions than Bellagio or the western shores. But the villages Varenna or Belano are actually a great location to start off your motorcycle journey. No lake visit without swimming. The water has 15 degrees, so it's very cold, and we will see if that's not too cold. Good morning from our balcony from the lovely place that we found yesterday. We're on the other side of the lake now, and today we will ride a bit and then drive home. Alrighty. Goodbye, Lake Como. We are driving back to Switzerland today, but not before exploring some more roads here in the mountains east of Lake Como. We started off on route SP62 that soon was about to turn into the much smaller route SP64 at the town Barlesio and SP25 after Avolazio. We just left Lake Como and stopped here at a little parking space because it's actually quite cold. It's only 9 degrees, so now we put another jacket on and then we do a little loop here before we go home. This part of the ride behind Lake Como on the east side, going east and then pretty much north again, is just beautiful. You go along all these canyons that you see behind me, and it's super narrow road, so maybe not for beginners, but the views are amazing. We had planned to ride over Passo San Marco that connects the town Olmo al Brembo and Morbent in the north of the Lake Como area, but stumbled into a problem just when we reached Olmo. We are now close to Passo San Marco, which we want to take because that's our way home, and just before we realized that it says closed, but we just asked at a local bakery and they say we should just try it. So in case you wonder how does it feel to ride an officially closed mountain pass, it actually feels very good because it's very empty. But if you travel this route, make sure that the pass is open because all other ways home would have taken us an additional 3 or 4 hours, and maybe you don't want to do that if you plan your routes. So really check if this pass is open before you go. How does it look on a closed path? Pretty empty, but as well pretty beautiful. Our ride in the Como area is unfortunately over now, and we are going down Passo San Marco and then take Maloja Pass back to Switzerland. Thanks for joining the journey to Lake Como. Next week we have to celebrate, and I have the most special video ever for you. I will release the book about my journey around the world in English. Yes, it's finally happening, and I prepared a video about my ride around the world. You can already pre-order the ebook for your Kindle, or just wait for the paperback version of the English translation that will be available from next Thursday.